It's Talking Back with Matt and with Pasta today here at the home studio. We had a great conversation with Garland Nixon earlier. We've been covering Israel, been covering Ukraine. We've been covering big pharma. We've been covering Hollywood. A lot of stuff going on, a lot of action. And then we had this raid from Due Dissident. So welcome you guys as well. As we explained earlier, we're going to tell you guys one more time, the Rumble raids, or what's it called? Rumble Rant. Rumble Raid is I'm still trying to learn all the lingo. Rumble Rant and YouTube super chats get bumped to the front of the line. So we'll start with that. And we do want to hear from you guys, all of you guys, whatever your function of communicating is best for you. We appreciate it. Let's find that Rumble. Here we go.
All right. So COVID was a PSYOP, RNA, cannot pandemic, the worthless PCR, and media with bad treatments cause death. There is no GOF virus and biological reality. Gain of function virus and biological reality. All right, so there's a lot there to unpack, right? So a lot of people talk about RNA. A lot of people don't connect the dots on what RNA, how it was tied to DARPA and the defense industry, and what allowed the government to do. When things are categorized under military, they can legally lie to the public for the under the guise of public safety, right? Of national security is the other one. And, there's a lot she's putting out there, too, as well. And I have conversations with COVID heads right now about some of the doctors that are involved, what went on. The worthless PCR test, to me, that was one of the biggest things because the PCR, Dr. Kerry Mullis, who accidentally suicided himself, said, plain and simple, that you cannot use PCR as a diagnosis. So you can use it as a stepping stone with other mechanisms to find out what's going on, but the threshold they had on was too high, and they knew that. They knew that what they were doing and how they were using it, they weaponized it, that it would pop a bunch of positives. Right? They have what's called false positives, and they would have that, and that made them control the narrative that this is this is a serious vaccine. It's spreading like wildfire. You need to get this, and also push back against the argument that the the non-symptomatic cannot spread the disease, right? Yeah. That is an argument going on. That's something that Dr. McCullough talked about earlier. There are some people said between the non-symptomatic and when you're catching it, it's spreadable. There's an argument there, but they did a test in Wuhan, the Chinese did, and less than 0.5% of the non-symptomatic did not spread the disease. They didn't catch it. That pushed back against the argument for lockdowns. If you are non-symptomatic, right? And what's the asymptomatic?
Asymptomatic.
If you are asymptomatic, thank you, guys. Can somebody correct me over there? What are you guys doing? Help me out, Mary Ploppins. If you're asymptomatic, then you ain't got it. You can go out. There's no need to quarantine. So that would push back against the arguments of lockdowns, and that's up there. The worthless and media with bad treatments cause deaths. They didn't talk about any of the McCullough protocols, any of the FLCC protocols, any of the Zelenko stuff. They ignored hydroxychloroquine. They ignored ivermectin. They ignored the protocols that go with it. They ignored the fact that natural immunity will always be better than any self-induced immunity, any type of treatment. When you take a vaccine, you're not taking something to kill the virus in front of you. You're taking it to give yourself a small amount of the virus to get your body to trigger the protection it is. So when you do get the virus, you already have the built-in protections. It's still unnatural. And they ignored that. So they were talking about bad treatments, and they were ignoring the proper treatments. And there is no gain-of-function virus in the biological reality. Here's the thing, too, as well. Gain-of-function testing was opened back up during the Patriot Act. People have to understand this is something that RFK talked about. When the Patriot Act was signed, they opened the door back up for chemical testing, chemical warfare. That made the Chinese have to greenlight their programs. That made the Russians have to greenlight their programs. And I'll say this again. Anything the Americans do foreign policy-wise, the Chinese and the Russians have to do to combat it. If we have a big sub-fleet with a bunch of nuclear weapons, then the Chinese and the Russians have to have a big nuclear fleet with a bunch of weapons. They did the same thing here. We opened up the Hell's Gate. Gain-of-function testing came into play. We wanted to create biological weapons. We even knew we wanted to create biological weapons that would attack certain races. That was into play. So when you think about gain of function, and that's why one of my biggest questions when I asked Chase Oliver, when he had won the nomination. I asked Jill Stein at the debates, will you put a ban on gain of function day one? To me, it's one of the most important things because we need to close that hole, but we have to also understand the mechanisms in which the state uses to open up those discussions. In this case, they use the Patriot Act to go crazy with biological testing. They're playing Russian roulette with our lives, and we need to stop them.
Yeah. And thanks, Pamela. Pamela's always sharp on the money every time we have a COVID discussion, and she gets the stuff that a lot of people miss, and I appreciate that commentary there. Craig, here's the Rumble rant that we have.
Here we are.
Here we go. This is from Dobther. You want to see the nightmare we're in down under? Check out Jillian Siegel. So I guess this is down under from Australia. Thank you so much for the Rumble rant. Let's check out Jillian
I'm gonna really
Siegel.
see what's going on with Jillian Siegel.
Here he is.
Jillian Siegel says, explaining her special envoy role, we've taken groups of influencers to Israel, young people who have large followers on social media, fitness freaks, food fanatics, and they come back and reach young people. It's that cultural change we need to see. Wow. Jillian Siegel.
This is a nightmare for sure, to say the least. Dobther, thank you for pointing that out. We didn't know. We have enough nightmares we're covering here on this side of the planet, but my God.
We can't take all the academics to Israel, but those that we have transformed their thinking, we will take many more senior ones. Many vice chancellors will go and will transform others. We pay her $400,000 for this.
Wow.
So Zionist being Zionist, I guess, right?
Yeah, they're coordinating this everywhere, and that's another stooge for Israel, and it is a nightmare. I think that's the best way to describe it that we're all living in right now. But we just have to be more vocal. So thanks for that Rumble rant, Dobther. Okay, moving on to some other stuff. I'm gonna back it to earlier. This is I gotta say something about we had some comments about our ties today. So we had thank you for this.
Dingo ate me, baby.
Yes. I feel like these two are gonna knock on my door and ask if you taken the Lord Jesus Christ as your savior and ask me to buy a Bible. Okay. Joke is well received.
We're on a bikes. Have you spoke with Jehovah?
Yeah.
What else we got?
And then we got this is the follow-up. Pastor, please tell me you two haven't gone Mormon. No, we haven't. We have not. We assure you.
Look at the comment right below him, but Indy, what is Indy?
Yeah, well, this is his tagline, baby. We like who are these people? Yeah. And then Leslie, thanks for chiming in there, and we hope we Leslie back on Thursday. That'd be awesome. But we're holding it down for you, Les. We're holding it down. They'll go to your door and talk you into voting third party instead. Yes, zinger, zinger.
I know we get a lot of shit from people who believe that you should abandon the system altogether. Steve, Fiorella, Misty Winston. I understand, but I'm not going to let them take away my vote. It's my God-given right to vote, to express my opinion and express my thought process. And listen, I think this is always we're going to always have to vote. If a bunch of anarchists are living on a commune and 11 of them go out hunting, 6 want to go this way, 5 want to go this way, and they got to pull their resources, they're going that way. Voting, even Adam and Eve took a vote.
Yeah.
Right? So no matter what, voting is going to be essential. And I do believe that we're one people in a sandbox and we're going to have to find a way to play together. And if we can get a real system, real representation, the ability to hire and fire people, I think that's great. Now, the anarchists that want to have as much freedom as possible, I believe that should be so, that we should give as much freedom and liberty to the people as itself. But the decisions that we have to make collectively, we're going to need representations at least and figure it out. If China can build high-speed rail, we need to come together and play together nicely in the sandbox. That's just my opinion. Yeah. And I have some electric, exciting election news coming forth down the pipeline, guys. It's going to be great. There's election stuff going on in the United States that is very exciting, and I'm going to be able to bring it to you. Our old good friend Clint Curtis, but that's all I got for now. So
okay,
electric stuff happening in Shasta County, California. Electric stuff.
Awesome, man. That sounds good. I'm
wow. Get me back on the election integrity vote again.
Yeah.
Great stuff taking place in Shasta County, California. I'm going to bring it all to you. I'm going to go up there. Clint Curtis is now the election supervisor, or the registrar of voters, it's called. It's crazy how he got the job. If you don't know who Clint Curtis is, he was one of the first to testify in a Florida hearing, in a congressional hearing, that he was approached by then the Speaker of the House of Florida to make a vote flipping mechanism. Back in the days when it was not even Dominion, it was Diebold and all these other companies that are now just transformed to these the companies they are today. Great stuff. So that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to hearing about that. Ed Rams, thanks for tuning in. Trump is a puppet. I had some respect for the man. Now it's at 0, and that's it. That's a trajectory. It's like
how do you feel about that? Did you have some hope? I hoped I was wrong and that he would end at least the fucking Ukraine war.
I had some hope too. The Ukraine war was the thing that I said, look, if we get one thing from this guy that's any different from Kamala and Biden, it would be Ukraine. That's it. And then we talked about the censorship in that regard. We weren't holding our breath for Israel. Believe me, guys, we knew we did not have. That was the Trump Gaza Plaza Trump whatever AI thing that was infuriating, but we weren't shocked by that. We understood that. But the one thing was Ukraine. Yeah, I would say.
And what's the one thing he's done now? Jose, who used to have an awesome trompo, some of the best pastor tacos, is gone, and they replaced him with some Ukrainian out of Kiev that doesn't even know how to make a good taco. That's what we got.
Yeah,
terrorizing the immigrant community is the only thing we got.
That's it
from Donald Trump.
That's all we get. Free Palestine.
Absolutely, Zoodzilla.
Yeah, thanks.
Still going on to this day. Hundreds of people dying every single day, happening. Greenlit by the American apparatus, still funding many weapons. Going to get more. Wouldn't even take a little cut. AOC couldn't even back us on that one.
So what happened to the peace president?
He was never the peace president.
He was never the peace president. Thanks, Eva Burke. Appreciate it. And this is another one we kind of forget about, but we just did we know what it's not segment, and it's important that we remind people that he was in charge of the Operation Warp Speed. Donald's responsible for millions dead worldwide when he authorized Operation Warp Speed. He now continues the killing by bombing Gaza, Somalia, Sudan, Yemen, and Iran.
I thought he let off Yemen. Maybe he's still bombing it, but he is bombing Somalia and Sudan every day, and people don't even talk about that.
He let off of Yemen, but the damage had been done, and he was posting it like Julian Assange style, like revealing his own war crimes. Here's the footage, guys. I'm like, hey, isn't that the stuff that when Edward Snowden and Julian Assange would post?
Yeah.
We'd be like, oh, you're giving away our secrets. We're putting you in jail for the rest of your life. Yeah. And then he just hey, cut out the middleman. Trump he'll just post it himself. Here are the war crimes.
Yeah.
Yay. It's like a video game. They're not real people, Craig. It's like, get that one. Pew, pew, pew. Get that one. That's what it was.
This is the programming and the desensitizing of Americans throughout the years through school and empire education, painting us as Captain America, going around fighting for civil liberties and freedom and humanity and human decency. I saw it go down a little bit.
Oh,
where's it at?
What are we looking for?
I saw due dissidence. People.
Oh yeah, we had. This is the yes. This is we barely missed it.
Thank you so much for dissonance.
This is it. Yeah,
the programming of making us feel like we're fighting for human decency and humanitarian reasons and all that stuff, but yet we're doing it. We're just sending a bunch of poor people to fight rich man's wars. That's why they believe in this G.I. Joe mentality, and bombing can go by every single day and the people not say anything. And until we start paying attention to actual policy instead of rhetoric and what goes on outside our borders, nothing is going to change. We should be up at arms right now of what's taking place in Gaza and what's taking place in Ukraine, because we're paying for it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That should be enough right there. Eva Burke, thanks for this one. This is the response to the Sydney Sweeney story we did in Hollywood today. Less of Nazi propaganda, more of white, blue-eye gene supremacy. Weird. I haven't seen or heard of this. I'm white and cringed at this. Yeah, well, it's there. It's out there. And it's another, again, we talked about that earlier. You guys can go check that segment out again. It's just another attempt to remind everybody that anti-Semitism is the biggest health concern, as RFK Jr. told us, that we have today. It's the biggest concern we have for health. Let's see what else we got here, guys. Chatter X, thanks for tuning in. As always, we love you, Chatter. Unfortunately, the whole left movement worldwide has been totally discredited by the fall of the Soviet Union and the modern fake co-opted leftism, wokeism. Yeah, totally corrupted. Exactly. Totally agree with that.
It is true the left has been co-opted, not just in the United States, but in France and England and whatnot. And then the worst byproduct of the wokeness is the fact that they're using it to censor and shut people down. That's the biggest weaponization of this whole thing. It's not that it's just annoying and it's stupid and whatever the case may be. And it's like, oh my God, they're using it to censor their, you know what I'm saying, Americans, or in this case, they're using it to censor British citizens or French or whatnot. That's the bad part, because they move it into hate speech and they weaponize it to silence people.
Yeah, 100%. Airwaves.
Mary Poppins said at the very, meanwhile, the shit libs are going along for the ride.
Oh, is that the
very bottom?
Okay.
Right there.
Yep, here we are.
Meanwhile, the shit, and it's going to come back again. So now we're looking at the situation. All right, we had this Donald Trump thing where everybody bought into it. All the UFC fighters, Joe Rogan, Russell Brand, you know, rescue the Republic. They had to come out there and say, let's go do this. Rob Schneider was out there with the Maha Crew saying, vote for this stuff. Other than, once again, Colonel Douglas McGregor, who came out there, business, and warned us about Iran and said, the United States is getting ready to attack Iran, guys, right? He was talking about the administration was coming in. I think a lot of people, unless there was cheating of this last election, it was a foregone conclusion that Donald Trump was going to be the president. Here comes Douglas McGregor, the only one at that rally to really put out a warning and say, hey, man, Iran's going to attack. They're going to attack Iran, a country that's never done anything to us again. But, you know, all those people bought into that, the lesser of two evils. Here we are again. But now we're faced with the fact that here come the shit libs now again. Now we're going to have to worry about the Democrats seizing power, taking advantage. And if you remember, I don't know how old you were, but the only reason, well, I don't want to say the only reason, but a major reason why I bought into Barack Obama is how batshit crazy the Republicans were then. The George W. Bushes, the Wolfowitzes, the Dick Cheney.
Yeah, no,
they were 100%. So crazy that I was like, no matter what, I'm buying into Obama. Now they're going to do the same thing they just did. They made Kamala and Joe look so crazy that you had to vote for Donald Trump. Now they're going to make Donald Trump look so bad and the Republicans look so bad that you got to vote for the Democrats. That's what's coming around. So they're not just going along for the ride. When I looked at that whole Sweeney thing, I looked at the ruling class riling up the base and seeing who's still around for their woke war, because that's what they're going to go forth with. And every single time they take away our rights, they don't give them back.
Yeah.
Donald Trump hasn't given us anything back. And in fact, he's taken away more rights with the Israeli lobby and censoring us even more. So by the time we get to the next Democrat, forget about it.
Yeah.
We might not even be able to go on. We might not even have social media platforms. They might deem us.
Oh, yeah. Stuff. No, that's where it's headed next. And then this comment from Mary Poppins was a response to this one. Gonzo Johnny, the only good part about Trump, the former left, has got its conscience and memory back.
I hope you're right, Gonzo Johnny. I hope you're right.
Connecting the dots. That's what we do.
I hope you're
As
right.
Pee Wee Herman once said, connect the dots. La, 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 la. You remember that one? No, you don't.
I remember Pee Wee Herman. I don't remember Connect the Dots.
He did that little Saturday morning.
I remember the word of the day.
Yeah. He goes, connect the dots. La, 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 la. No. Goofy dude. Goofy dude. That was fun. That was back when we had no problems in the world. Bonzo Beans, I think, is the mod for Do Dissidents, which is awesome. Thanks, Bonzo Beans. I'm heading back to my Batman and Robin.
Arrivederci.
All right,
folks.
All right. Arrivederci. Why am I cannot. I did not see that. Thanks for correcting that. And we're all doing the same thing. We're just doing it all in our different ways. You know why, guys? You know why we can do this? Because it's a pretty open lane. There's not so many. I mean, we can't really count on one hand. There's a lot, but it's still pretty open, right? I mean, you talk about Rumble, you talk about the right wing, channels, the right wing populist channels. How many do we have in our space? It's not.
No, it's because they
many.
Censored us out, right? The independent left, the common sense left, the anti-imperialist left, the left that doesn't put culture wars above everything else. They put war, foreign policy, economics, censorship, civil liberties, freedom of speech. That comes first for a lot of anti-imperialist left. They found a way to censor us and demonetize us out of the whole freaking game. You know what I'm saying? Once again, I have a YouTube channel with Fiorella that's been demonetized for almost 7 years now, right? And that was a big source of our income. Why? Why can't the little lonely old comic couch have a show? And so many times they've censored us or took us down on Twitter or whatever. And so it's tough. They've made it so it's really hard for people, independent voices, those who don't play tribal politics like we do here, to succeed. They want to silence us. They want to shut us up. So we do need your help. Any way you can help us out, please do. And once again, this is just the beginning of what we're going to be doing. We're not going to stop doing this. We're going to keep moving forward. We're going to keep bringing you the news, giving you our opinions out there. And I think there's a lot more to come. Things are going to heat up right now. It might seem like a little lull out there, Lull, lull, but it's going to heat up. Trust me.
Yeah. And we'll just we'll just end with a couple more. Zootzilla, thanks for being on our YouTube channel. Where is the jail time for these criminals? And that's the thing.
Never
you guys,
gonna happen.
We've realized this now. This is something that you guys like. We give you permission to spread this language to your friends and families and coworkers when these discussions come up. And I know there's so many hopeful people out there that say Trump's going to get them, or whatever they think, their delusion. And then, like, look, we're not punching down at them. They're still being hopeful. We were hopeful with Obama, but the reality is no one's going to jail. Nobody in power is going to jail. There's always going to be a scapegoat down the ladder just a bit, one here, one there, but nobody in power is going to jail. We figured that out with Obama. Never held anyone accountable for, the illegal war in Iraq and the illegal torture program and the 1 million dead Iraqis. Nobody ever goes to jail. You're not going to see anybody going to jail for COVID. You're not going to see anybody going to jail for Ukraine. You're not going to see anyone go to jail for child sex trafficking, guys. And RFK Jr. told us, even the last HHS alone, he said there's 300,000 missing kids. Well, where are they? Well, we're looking for them. Well, what about the people who did it? Don't worry, Mr. President. We took care of them. We cleared them out.
Yeah.
That's what he told us.
Yeah.
What do you mean you cleared them out? Oh, just like you cleared out that vaccine panel. You clear people out, you bring in new people. The people you clear out don't go to jail. So it's just theater. It's not real if nobody's getting charged for a crime.
Yeah.
That's the big aha moment for us.